What's up guys? Today we're going to be looking at the Sigma 18-50 f2.8. I'm going to be showing my impressions of it along with dozens of sample photos that I've taken. By the way, this lens is amazing, so let's get right into it. So I originally switched away from Canon to Sony just because, I was looking for something a little bit more compact and lightweight. And dude, these are the kinds of lenses that I switched for. This thing is so tiny. Take it off the camera without the lens hood and it is less than 3 inches. I mean, look at this. This is only slightly bigger than my Sigma 30mm prime. That is insane. Now thankfully the compact size does not compromise on build quality. This is made out of a mix of metal and a sort of high quality plastic thing. Sigma markets it as thermally stable composite, which is just a fancy way of saying, yeah, high-end plastic. Most Sigma lenses are made out of this material. I've had my Sigma 30mm for about 6 years now. I've definitely beat it up and it's still going strong. So I expect the 18-50 to be just as, young lasting. And then as far as caps go, you do get a front and back cap, as you'd expect. And then you do get this nice little petal shaped lens hood. You can flip it for storage, which is nice. This thing feels kind of flimsy, to be honest, but it does the job. I smashed this lens against the concrete barricade when I was testing it, and the lens hood kept the front element safe from impact. And then from an actual usability standpoint, it's a pretty standard lens design. There's not really any extra stuff on it. There's not even an AF/MF switch. It's very minimalistic and simple, which I actually appreciate. I find this lens to be quite pretty, as strange as that sounds, because it's just so, there's nothing extra. It's just a lens. The zoom ring is actually quite grippy, and I haven't noticed any sort of, zoom creep, when you have your lens pointed downward where it slowly zooms out. And then there is some light weather sealing. There's a gasket around the lens mount here, but there's not internal seals or anything like this. So, a light jersey, it'll probably do just fine. But now let's talk about image quality, because at the end of the day, that's what everybody cares about. So my lens tests, they don't get very scientific. You're not going to see any MTF charts or anything like that. I'll just put a bunch of sample photos up on the screen here, and you can kind of judge them for yourself. So at the wide end of the spectrum, 18mm, we see pretty good sharpness, definitely near the center with a little bit of drop off around the edges. Just stopping down a tiny bit to even just f5.6 sharpens up the entire frame and makes this thing a pretty sick landscape lens. On the telephoto end, 50mm, we do see some soft corners at f2.8, but that's totally fine because, if I'm shooting at 50mm f2.8, I'm usually shooting portraiture or something center focused, so I don't really need super sharp high-end corners. Stopping down just a little bit, again, makes the entire frame just look fantastic, and I've actually shot quite a few telephoto landscape panoramas with this thing. Now that being said, I should mention distortion. I put some samples on the screen here. At the wide end of the range, 18mm, you do get some very heavy barrel distortion, but it is mostly fixable in post-processing. Flare resistance is another kind of iffy point of this lens. I had no issues shooting into artificial light, street lamps and stuff like that, but shooting into the sun created insane ghosting and insane flaring. Finally, chromatic aberration, no issues, even shooting into branches on a sunlit sky or a shiny car during midday, no issues with CA. And then next up is bokeh. Given that this is an f2.8 lens, you're not going to get insane bokeh, but I found it to look pretty darn good. I put a couple of samples here at 18 and 50mm at different f-stops so you can kind of judge for yourself. And then for photographing humans, bokeh, again, it looks pretty decent. I put a bunch of portrait samples up on the screen here, but you can see the background is, decently blurred out. There's some nice bokeh bears. And yeah, I think it looks good, but it's obviously not going to match an f1.8 lens. And now let's focus on focusing. Okay, anyways. So this lens, it has good AF. There's honestly not much to say. It's like any other modern lens. Autofocus is fast, quiet, reliable, no issues. Something I do want to speak on though is the fact that this doesn't have stabilization, and that's not going to be a big deal for most people, but I use this thing on the A6000, which doesn't have built-in stabilization, which made it kind of tough for shooting video. But this lens, combined with a body that has stabilization, would be an amazing combination for shooting video. Autofocus is dead silent. It's incredible. So yeah, in case I haven't made it abundantly clear, this lens is amazing. You're getting incredible performance in a tiny package, and the price is only about $500 typically. So if you're looking for what I consider to be the best zoom lens for APS-C, you gotta buy this thing. I'll drop a link down below, and thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments, do you have this lens? Are you planning on buying it? If you've bought this lens, do you like it? Let me know, and thanks for watching guys. Have a great day.